Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're making meatloaf for the freezer. Meat is getting bloody expensive. This is approximately 3 pounds of ground beef, and I paid $18.96 for that. And that, folks, was on sale. And I have approximately 3 pounds of ground beef and ground pork. Why? Because that was only $13. Now, I have got 2 foil pans there that I had in the cupboard. And I've got my mini loaf pans, because these are just the right size for 2 people. I have my MSG-free onion soup mix, some onions, 5 eggs. I have a package of freezer burnt, well, they're not freezer burnt, but they've been in the freezer too long, hot dog buns, and if we need them, 4 whole wheat English muffins that are about to go to mold if I don't do something with them. So, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, these hot dog buns are going to be ground up for our bread. We're just going to, so we have approximately 6 to 7 pounds of meat and 8 hot dog buns. Now I'm going to be using my dough hook, folks. Why? Because I've done it with the paddle before, but it kind of changes the texture of things. Now you can add whatever seasonings you want. I like my MSG-free onion soup mix, and I'm gonna put a couple of heaping tablespoons in there, and of course pepper, and I'm gonna say about a tablespoon of garlic or more. Go our onions. Now, yes, I put onion soup mix in here. You don't have to do that. But still, it's not meatloaf unless it has onion in it. If you have dehydrated vegetables like beans and carrots and corn, you can go ahead and grind them up in the coffee grinder and use them instead of bread. But be careful with your flavorings, folks. If it's like too much celery or too many peppers or something like that, it's going to change the flavor of your meatloaf. Now, folks, if you want to add more bread, you go right ahead. Here we have a 1.5 cups of minced onion. And we're going to drop that in there. 4 pounds of ground beef. Trust me, folks, there was no meat cheaper than this to grind. This pandemic is driving up prices just when people need sales the most. So, we are all going to work through this, aren't we? So here is 1, 2, 5 eggs. And you know what? I think I will put the rest of this bread in here, because we want to make this meatloaf go as far as possible. Okay, so 8 hot dog buns, stale, and 4 whole wheat English muffins. $7 pounds of ground meat. Oh, Sam, you've got your work cut out for you. There it is. You know what we almost forgot, folks? Ketchup. Wouldn't be a meatloaf without just a couple of squirts of ketchup. I have set my oven to 325 degrees. These are my my USA pans. They're mini loaf pans, because one of these would be a perfect meatloaf size for Howie and I. And I had these 2 foil pans in the cupboard. So I lined them with parchment, and we're going to see just how much meatloaf we get here. So I'm just going to make a ball and put it in each one just to kind of see where I'm going here and how many pans I will need. Now remember, folks, this was $33 worth of meat. So I want to be stretching her as far as I can get. Now one of the reasons we put bread in is so that it won't shrink as much, right? It won't shrink as much because the bread is the filler. And the eggs bind it all together, but I'm not. Let's see what we got here. I might get another, yeah, I'm going to get another one out of this. And this is a family size one, so we'll save this one for when Briar comes. So we would have got 10 if I'd had another pan. These are expensive meatloaf, folks. I recommend you using the tube meat if you don't mind using tube meat, but that looks like that's what we're going to be using next. All right, these are going into a 325-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Alrighty then, our timer has gone off. Here are our lovely meatloaves. And we're gonna let these cool down and suck back in some of the juice, obviously, before we put them in the freezer. And then I'll make one of these fresh out of the freezer. Now, I know it seems silly to have hot meatloaf here and then do a video on it coming out of the freezer, but you're going to see in a couple of ways how I cook these ready-made meatloaves. Okay, here's how we cook a frozen cooked meatloaf. Well, we don't cook it because it's already been cooked. Set that right there in the bottom of the crock pot. Now remember, your meatloaves are built for your size of family. And then we're just going to dump in carrots and potatoes and an onion. Now, you can use canned gravy, but we're just going to make up a quick substitute gravy. Now the butter. Now we want this gravy fairly thick, so we're going to put about, I don't know, a quarter cup of flour in there. This is my MSG free soup mix. I'm going to put 2 heaping tablespoons of beef flavor in there. You can use Bisto, you can use canned gravy, you can do whatever you want. And now we're just going to add in some water. Not too much. We want this to be thick. Why? Because our vegetables are going to give off water. Look how it's getting really thick. Now remember, our carrots and potatoes are going to give off water. That may be just a little bit too thick. Can gravy ever be really thick enough? I'm just going to take it over here, and excuse me, I am right-handed, right over top of everything. See how thick that is? Leftover Kentucky Fried Chicken gravy would probably be really good because it used to be thick like this. I don't know what it is anymore because we don't eat that stuff. Now I'm just going to give all these things a stir. All right? If you got to go to work, put this on low for the day. If you have a timer, set it for noon on low. If it's 3 hours to supper, put it on high. I'll put mine on low because it's only 12:30. Alrighty then, let's have a look. Oh my goodness. Now I did have to add some water because that gravy was too thick. But let's make Papa up a plate. And I'm just going to cut this meatloaf. Now Daddy said, oh, they're going to be too small. But no, look. That is a perfect portion for a person of meatloaf, right?
For me.
For you. For the papa.
What are you gonna have?
Go ahead. It's hot.
Hot.
Now, remember when I used to freeze meatloaves before, when I worked in the bakery?
Mm-hmm. Bagley? Oh, that's really good.
Awesome.
Nice Sunday night dinner.
There you go. Thank you, darling. Whoa, food porn, people. That's why you should cook a whole bunch of meatloaves and stick them in the freezer. Because that's just one way to cook one. I'll show you next time how to make it different. Buy a slow cooker. They're your best friend. Okay, here's the breakdown. The meatloaves were $3.50 a piece for the small ones. Because the meat was $32.03, eggs 55 cents, buns and bread $2, and I could have made those meatloaves go a lot farther with more bread and eggs and onion because they were really solid. Soup mix onion 40 cents, soup mix 45 cents or 40 cents, I can't remember, read my own writing. Ketchup 20 cents, $3.56 per small meatloaf. So then you've got the meatloaf for $3.56, 45 cents worth of potatoes, 40 cents worth of carrots, 11 cents worth of the onions, and 99 cents if you're going to buy a can of gravy. Okay? That means the grand total of that meal for two was $5.51. $5.51 or $3.75 a serving? No, $2.75 a serving per person. So, yeah, it was expensive meat. I could have made it go a lot farther, but it was bloody delicious, and we still managed to keep it within the budget. This is the Mrs. Wolfe from Our Half Acre Homestead saying that's just good home economics. Take care. God bless.